I'll be praying for them at the same time. I'll be praying and then doing whatever I can think of to help them. And then that helps.
Yeah, this is something that I think a lot of people in this moment, after 5 years after COVID, and honestly, our Western system is breaking down right now. When you come in with the intention to help a person and you're holding space for them, like even praying for someone that old school doctors used to do more and maybe can't do anymore because
They don't have time.
Aren't allowed by, I guess, insurance and whatever to not do standard of care, whatever it is, all these issues that taking humanity out is, right?
Two different doctors come together to eat ramen and talk about the most difficult questions in medicine. This is Puzzle Exchange here in San Francisco.
Hi, I'm Debbie. I'm the TCM doctor, and this is
Kathleen Scheible, homeopath. From what I'm hearing, it's pretty tough in a lot of places right now. I feel like we're in this crucible of a time, and I felt that way for a while, and we don't know how it's going to go. Anything on the good side, anything maybe is possible on the other side. I came here during the dot-com boom in the 90s, worked for Applied Materials I was semiconductor equipment.
oh wow.
So we were building the tools that make the computer chips. And that was an amazing time to be here too. It was it's going in cycles.
So it's a little bit like now with the AI thing going on.
Yeah, it was then, and hundreds of people moved here from all over the world, but it's so alive and so I worked with some of the smartest people I've ever known.
That's right. Yeah.
But I've always still loved it here, even as I pivoted from engineering to homeopathy, but which was a huge pivot because there's much less money in homeopathy than engineering, but it's more like my soul needs to do this work because it's so amazing. It heals people.
So what made you
change? I also have a son and a stepson, and both of them, they were around 10 years old, I think, at the time that me and my partner, my wife and I got together, and we had been single moms. And then we blended families, and we both had kids the same age. But both of those two kids had some medium level health issue. My son, issue with his ears, and he had a lot of antibiotics when he was a baby. And then, because I didn't know any better, didn't know any alternative medicine, and then he got eczema and asthma. And so I was just going to the pediatrician, managing with steroids and inhaler and all these things. And it seemed like he kept getting more sick. So with him, I finally found an osteopath. An osteopath did some cranial sacral manipulation. Okay. The first thing that helped my son's ears. And so I was like, wow. And then it wouldn't hold. So she referred us to a homeopath. And then literally one remedy, and within the first month, his ears, asthma, and eczema were all so much better. So then I was like, I don't even think we need the cream anymore. We don't need the inhaler. So I was amazed. And then my stepson had viral meningitis and went to UCSF. There's not much they can do for viral, but afterwards had chronic migraine headaches and debilitating nausea. 6 months, every day, for 6 months. And they kept saying, we don't know what was wrong. It's not the meningitis. And now I wonder if maybe the vagus nerve had been tweaked during the spinal tap for diagnosing it. I took him to the homeopath then, and literally as well, within the couple doses of a remedy for the nervous system, he was all better. It was completely old self. And so I was just amazed, and I had no idea what it was. I was so impressed that I was I have to learn more about what this is. And so I went to a talk, and then I was I have to study. But it was then a long time before I transitioned, and I went working in Silicon Valley to working in the city so I could at least cut out my commute, and still had to study for a few years. And then I was doing part-time engineering for a while I was building up my practice. And then eventually, it's a long journey. The system of homeopathic medicine was first developed over 200 years ago by a German MD, actually, at the time. He developed it because he noticed that the medicines of his day and time were actually poisoning people, such as mercury and arsenic. And he was wanting to use the smallest dose that was effective. And he noticed this somewhat paradoxical effect with where we're using really high dilutions, really more nanoscale.
I wrote, and I like diluting, 99 diluting again
Yes.
and again.
Yes,
So,
it's a whole system based on a few founding principles, like here's one of them, this minimal dose being another principle, and really based on, again, on the whole person. So we're really looking at all the ways that a person's body tends to go out of balance over their lifetime. And based on that kind of signature or the hallmark of that person's way that their body is communicating with them, really trying to find one remedy to match the imbalanced state, to nudge the body back into balance by stimulating the body's own healing response.
it's a little bit like what we do in Chinese medicine as well.
Okay.
Like we also go as a whole and then trying to find the balance, the yang, or we use like the 5L, which is to different system organ. For example, like now it's related to our liver, and liver connects to the wood. With this, we might have feeling stressed out, feeling dry, and that's all because of the season as well. So everything is connected, and we're trying to find which is in balance, and then to try to see the patterns, and then go.
Hopefully we're eating something good for the fall season.
What type of symptoms or things do you treat most?
The most stress-related symptoms, and also trauma, physical, but especially emotional and even intergenerational trauma. I've gotten more into working with in probably the last 10 years. How about you?
Anything internal medicine, like with insomnia, these are all connected with our emotions.
Yeah.
Our body, our minds, emotion, these are all connected. And with different happiness, more related to our heart energy. With sad is related to like our lung, and with so each of them could relate to different organ systems, and we can see which is imbalanced, and then we can adjust that.
For example, we say a person has never been well since a grief. That often can go with lung, either pathology or difficulty, susceptibility in the lung area, but not always. So we more just ask about the journey or the story of the person and ask them to describe how it is impacting their lives. So whether that means, oh, it is impacting my sleep. My sleep has not been well since that thing, the grief or the trauma. Question of like, how do you notice this affects you? And so sometimes it's something like sleep, sometimes it's anxiety, which can manifest physically in the body. Sometimes it's mundane, like headaches, or may not have connected the dots that their body is affected by that thing.
We need to read their tongue, see the tongue, and check like the coding, and then check their pulse, because different pulse on both sides, it's connected to our organ system. And so by the shape of the pulse, the fast flow, and the sore weakness, that will give us information of what's going on inside.
Yeah.
And combining the symptoms, also their digestion system, and all of that, then we can understand what's really going on. And I know with homeopathy, you also need like a long period of questioning and asking, knowing their lifestyles. And usually what really gives you like the T or what's the dot.
How do we get there? How do we get from A to B? Yeah. I wish we had something more objective, like a pulse or like a coding sometimes. But on the end, it is based on the unique way that the person experiences their own symptoms. So we're relying on their description of their symptoms. So yeah, we ask questions like, what makes it worse? Is there a certain time of day that symptom comes to you? Or is there a certain trigger that you notice? And those relate to the remedies, relates to our materia medica, and how we, like certain remedies have certain modalities, or certain, like they always come eat, or they always come at a certain time of day, or needed by somebody who has a lot of anger expression and maybe out of balance anger sometimes. So It really, and all of the remedies, if you look at our Materia Medica, you see all the systems in the body. There's some hallmark that relates to that substance. And so it's really knowing like how the full of all thousands of substances. But we also have a computer program that helps us repertorize and come up with the top 20 most well indicated on the symptoms. It's not just the mundane symptoms that are common for a pathology, but it's the more unusual symptoms. Like, for example, for a certain condition, let's say eczema, red, itchy skin is pretty common, right? But if for one person, it happens at 10 a.m. when the sun is up. That's a little more unusual for eczema, right? So we might look at Natrium muriaticum for that person's eczema, which has that particular modality being worse at 10 a.m. and worse with the sun.
But you need a lot of experience.
Yes.
And you need to pay even more focus on what's giving you the lead, what is it traced back to.
Yeah, 10 different people say, with migraine headaches would probably all get 10 different homeopathic remedies based on their health history, based on the type of pain, where it's located, and the modality, what makes it better, what makes it worse. Not everyone, but a lot of people realize they have to responsibility for their health, and that the whole Western medical system is amazing at doing certain things, but it has its limitations. So I think a lot more people are realizing that now and looking for alternatives. So on that hand, it's getting more popular. How did you decide to study
In Chinese medicine?
and
I always want to be a doctor of some sort. And I used to study animal science. His best friend's dad is pediatrics, and he was studying Chinese medicine. And I found like, this is interesting. And I never really understand much. And the more books I went through, it was like, this is really interesting. But I forgot that with being in the medical field, you need to study the rest of your life. So I went into this place that I hate study, but I need to study for my practice. So I just need to keep learning.
Yeah.
So I went to Beijing because that's where everything, like Chinese medicine, is rich in China. So I studied in Beijing, and ours is a 5 years. It's just as main as med school. So in China, with Western medicine is 5 years, Chinese medicine is the same, and we need to learn both Chinese medicine and Western medicine. And it's just a bachelor's degree, but after that you can get, after another year of internship, you're available the license exam. I went back to Beijing to study more of my PhD there.
Wow.
I worked at Beijing 10 years.
Wow. That's pretty awesome.
I feel like I really don't understand it. The more you know,
That's right. That's true. I talk to fellow homeopaths. We all say that too. I'm getting stable and on my feet with this, and there's so much more.
I learned another set of, and then how the season changes your energy, well, not that, and they can use a different set of acupoints on the head, just using within 2-3 needles, and that heals everything.
Wow.
A lot of people having lung conditions like coughing or respiratory. And then for 6 months, there's more digestion.
Okay.
So maybe you can see if there's a pattern this year, like the last few months. Because in Beijing, it's been raining a lot. And because of the rain, the dampness in medicine is related to our digestion energy. So that's causing a lot of digestion problems. Chinese medicine, if you go way back, it's related to astroastronomy. They look at the stars, and then they look at like the season, because the stars go with the season, because that's how the earth. And that's also related to when do you start growing the crops and all that. I know, it's just because we don't quite understand the whole thing yet, so that's why you feel it's missed. I haven't mastered this, so I can't really explain everything.
Absolutely, especially because the dilutions are so small. People say, how can it possibly do anything? Because it's a sub-molecular. There's not even a single molecule of the original substance.
What I read a lot on internet. Do you explain this?
I say, because I used to be an engineer, I say, which is true, don't yet understand the mechanism of action, of how it works. It's just the observation that these remedies prepared in this way work according to these principles, right?
Yeah.
There is research. The latest research does show that there is effect beyond the placebo. We don't fully understand what that is. Places like India, where hundreds of thousands of people rely on homeopathic medicine alone, they're doing more research there, including the physics departments of universities are looking at the medicines under scanning electron microscopes and finding, for example, nanoparticles of the original substance and nano silica structures, probably from the glass tube that it gets to cust. And we know that those ultra high dilutions, even in a petri dish, will produce a different like electromagnetic force, versus water.
Yeah. Yeah, so I'm not totally sure about what. So when you prescribe like a certain medicine, like a mix of different thing, or is it just there's
substance. When we prove our substances, a healthy person who doesn't have health issues, if you can find such a person. Another interesting thing about homeopathic remedies, if you take a remedy repeatedly and you don't need it, it's not indicated for your symptoms, you might start to actually prove it's not really true illness,
but it's like discomfort.
It's like symptoms
coming out. Oh, interesting.
So it's more like the body recognizes it and starts to produce those symptoms. So, the provers would write all those down, and that's how we know what it can help people with, because there would be common ones that come up for multiple people. Yeah, but only when they know they're going to do that thing, not much just for general.
Yeah, that's quite different, like what Chinese medicine. Like now on a couple of days ago was Mid-Autumn Festival, but at the same time it's already called like the cold. So it's like starting to get cold now, and then probably in the month it starts like the first snow something. So like with different season, within these weeks there will be like articles on the link or on the internet telling people, okay, now with this, you should start taking this to get rid of that. Or for, like I said, now it's fall, we need to take a lot of care with our lung energy. We need to take eating pear, whitewood here, like the Japanese yam, anything that is good for your lung.
Nice.
And then when winter comes, take anything that warms you up or take like black, because black is related to our kidney energy.
Oh, nice.
So it's like eating black dates or that, and that will be warming up your kidney energy and warming up your body. So
that's beautiful. I wish it was just engaging for them to be more proactive, to take care of themselves. And I think one thing we see is that over time, if you have taken a constitutional remedy, people do tend to get less susceptible to getting, even if they tend to get colds and coughs because of their body, nature of the body, whatever it is. Usually with a good constitutional remedy, then they get that thing much less often,
a lot of people with trauma, do you need to do some work like a psychiatrist? Like you need to dig deeper or something?
An interesting one, because people are in different phases of being ready to actually. I much prefer if they're also working with a therapist as well. Yeah. It's actually a couple of therapists who refer to me, and they understand that like they're working with that person, but I would say if that seems like there's a stuckness, if the story keeps being the same and there's a stuckness, homeopathy can help get unstuck.
Yeah.
And so then they would come and we're not just going through all the details. It's more like really trying to, the substance, again, symptoms, which we do have some that are really well indicated for when people are having more like PTSD symptoms or just been severely by a trauma. Maybe they still feel afraid maybe they have trouble sleeping. So we're talking about sleep. But yeah, then work with some of the that are better indicated for those. And we're usually working higher potencies for trauma, which means it's more dilute in the homeopathic world. Yeah. Yeah, so in homeopathy, every time you get more, it works stronger according to homeopathic principles. So the more it matches up with the uniqueness of the person, the way their body expresses, you could just keep diluting that substance, maybe for forever, I don't know. And it will act stronger and more on the mental, emotional, spiritual. What we know is it's not working like a drug because it's the opposite of a drug. Some people say that. They say it's like an medicine or essence of the substance that gets retained in the water or in the water mixture that it's in.
Yeah, I read about there's like a memory of the water or something like that.
One theory. We don't know. We know are the nanoparticles and nanostructure from the silica.
How much of it is like spiritual and how much of it is like actual?
There's no specific spiritual belief in homeopathy. It's not like a religion in way or something like that. But I would say that it can affect people on the spiritual plane. So, and often in that territory when we're working with trauma, yeah, for sure. Whether or not like, someone feels ready to work on that level, yeah.
There is a that's almost do that.
Yeah.
Like they'll tell me their story.
Yeah,
And,
because know about their story, it's easier to do what you're doing. You need to, like with that more, and then telling me more information, like why is causing symptoms. So that's why it's like
that's
that.
something the symptoms, and then you treat that.
Yeah, and also we see that the mind-body connection is very real and it's respected within the system of medicine. So even, for example, when you say, oh, every time I get angry, I feel pain in my liver or pain here or certain, and they relate to the medicine they need, yes, but also it's like you want to see a person getting healthier on the mental, emotional level. We say if there's a disturbance in that area, we want to see them getting better first on the mental, emotional level or spiritual, if that's a thing. And then it proceeds on down to the more outer levels and systems in the body. That's called Herring's Law of Cure. Herring was a homeopath who noticed this direction. What we say people get better from the inside out and from the top down if it's a curative way of getting better in homeopathy. I don't know if you see something like that.
So from you, it's going from to out. So it's more like the root of it, or it's just like it's to treat then the more surface of the.
More like the organs in the, like the heart. We have just one of those and it's it's pretty much. And also the cognition. And so if there's infecting those two, those are the most important. And then, so going also is somewhat organized that way. It's protecting our vital organs. And then skin is the outermost. So sometimes when someone comes in for eczema, but they also have debilitating anxiety, we want to see the anxiety getting better first. The skin might even flare up while the anxiety is getting better and then proceeds outer to the outer body.
We want to do the same way. So we want to treat the root of the problem. But as we prescribe like herbs, most of the time we can see probably both are getting better at the same time, but probably from the go down first, but then slowly you can feel like, okay, they also feel much relaxed and all that. So slightly different or sometimes the same, yeah.
And it can be that they just get better everywhere at once. That's another possibility, and that's the best. That's when that starts happening.
Do you have a really tough that keep coming, but nothing's happening? Like it's the hardest to, or for me, sometimes it's simplest things that you feel, oh, this is easy, but then it's just keep coming back. It's just not getting near what you want.
It's a good question. Certainly cases of many different types of pathology. It's just challenging whether I'm understanding what's going on with this person or not. So that happens sometimes. And if it happens for too long, I would refer them out. Maybe I'll send them to you. One thing that's really tough to work with is if someone's had to have a lot of steroids, especially injections. It seems to
Blocking a lot of things.
it's blocking. It's what we say, like a kind of vital force.
Okay.
So then we're giving remedies based on our principles. The body's not behaving anymore the way we think it should.
Like for homeopathy, like each condition. So, for example, sleeping. For Chinese, we will differentiate to like there's probably 6 of cause that's causing the sleep disorder.
Yeah.
And for you, you need to ask so many questions. But how do you like
Think about it for sleep.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, about their sleep, regardless of what they come in for, even if they don't think they have an issue with sleeping, we ask about sleep quality, also dreams.
We do.
Yeah, and so we said if someone's getting decent quality sleep, usually they do remember some dreams. And then, of course, it's a mirror of the subconscious mind. So if it's strongly based in fear or anxiety, that probably is showing up in the dreams, getting there as well. So we just let the dream symptoms are relevant actually to the remedies, as well as, this person tends to wake up at 1 a.m. versus 5 a.m. That kind of, so the specific, how does their night go? Or if the person lies awake, worried about the next day versus the person who just feels wired. They're not thinking about anything necessarily. They could do a bunch of stuff. So it's very different people and it's chronic. It probably relates to their constitution. And so that could be one of thousands of remedies. So it's really just one aspect of their health, but it's important. And so if it's off, we definitely want to see that getting fixed sooner than later because it's so debilitating when people are not having good sleep, right? It's that repair getting undermined, right?
Yeah.
People dream about things. Do you get into the detail of what's the object they dream?
Yes, a little bit, yeah. I mean, sometimes it can be more generalized, like just anxiety or dread or being chased or whatever, worried about the family. So very rarely give a remedy based on just the dream or something like that. It's usually based on the whole picture of symptoms. But sometimes there are some pretty unique things that can relate to specific remedies.
And you said like, how many remedies are there? 1,000?
I think there are like 8,000. But
Whoa.
we work more commonly, most of us, with somewhere around like 100 that we better. I think for most homeopaths, it's only if some of those more well-known indicated ones aren't working that you start looking outside, the more unusual ones. We have a bit that's into a strange part of homeopathy that I didn't know we would necessarily talk about, called the miasms, which relate to what different we see it as the energy that certain diseases brought to humanity. And what you're describing, we call the psoric miasm. And it relates to the disease of psora. And Hahnemann, the founder, it's like a skin mite itch disease. But it relates to the energy of it is around not having enough your basic. So the person who's we say in miasm, that means they could need hundreds of different remedies, but often the energy is this quality, including the dreams, of, they're cold because if they don't have heat, it's scary because it's survival. It's all about survival and basic needs. And so in that a certain kind of skin thing too, psoric in nature tends to be just a little more superficial, but it can be very itchy, very bothersome. It goes to all the systems in the body, but that's the theme, the energetic, struggling for basic survival, a lot of worry about money, even if it doesn't make sense. Like we'll find, right, people who are, no, it's not rational. You can even have founders of startups, have all the money they need, but this is still the feeling. It is a trauma in a way.
Yeah.
It sticks. One of the remedies, let's say, that relates to the psoric miasm in homeopathy is, for example, arbonica, which is the calcium carbonate taken from an oyster shell. And the remedy from that is used for certain type of people who usually they have a very cold constitution as well, sometimes a little bit more flabby constitution, but often fears that relate to like basic survival, like house. I have a secure place to live? And even they might have the most secure situation, but they tend to feel that way, or have to eat, or their loved ones, or yeah. So I would say the way I see most allergies now is that allergies are an indicator the body doesn't have enough capacity to do what it needs to do. Like seasonal allergies, I think for most people are just like, we don't necessarily have to have them, but when our body is overloaded trying to deal with too many things, we can get allergies.
Do you think, I was thinking another thing, just like after the pandemic, like during the pandemic, the shots, did it change like the body type afterwards? We feel like kids that are born during those years, they're really sensitive. And because everybody got locked down for 4 years, and they didn't get enough contact with others. And then I remember the first year everything opened up, the pediatrics were like, boom. Post-COVID, they have side effects. Some have like difficulty of stuff like that, headaches, a lot of sore throat, and all that. What type of constitution did fall into?
Not exactly one type, but interestingly, some of the remedies that were needed during the 1918 flu, some of the biggest remedies in homeopathy, like bryonia, which is the Latin word that it's the hops. That one was the biggest. It covers a lot of flu-like symptoms, but some of the way the fever would develop or the types of achiness or lack of energy, and can get into also difficulty breathing. That was the one, the remedy phosphorus, which is more constitutionally what we tubercular, which is a lung susceptibility. One was also very big in the more fatigue stage, COVID, that was common back then. Many others. Essentially from like carbon monoxide could be used. Some of those very serious, hard to breathe. Yeah.
So everything, like all the are from nature or some.
Yeah, there'd be a plant and animal base, such as an animal venom or an animal milk or something like that, or even a crushed whole bee, and minerals like calcium carbonate, an example, or even simple table salt, natrium muriaticum, is one remedy, big remedy in homeopathy. But even toxic things like that you would never take in their regular form, like poisonous plants or literally snake venom. Those in this tiny little hint of a dose can be helpful in some of the same things that if someone got overly exposed to that same thing, it could cause.
We do have that in Chinese medicine as well.
I didn't know that.
We have or snakes in Chinese, like using the poison to poison. So for people having like skin, or they have trigemomyalgia, or some they have Bell's palsy. We need some things that to make it right, and then some of the things.
What would be a good case to refer to you?
The way I think of it, similarly to what I said to my psychotherapist friend on the mental emotional realm, because that's their specialty, but if you see that person seems stuck, you're not making progress. Actually working on their trauma, I enjoy working with that. Not something I find difficult, or like some homeopaths might say, gosh, I can't let that arts or whatever. I don't feel that way. I find and the remedies work really well for it. Like I'm always satisfied with what I'm able to do pretty much. Somewhat surprising to me, but I get a lot of satisfaction from that. And I feel like it's also something where people don't have a lot of great options for working with it. And what about you? Clients would you like to have if you have a choice?
30% women's problems and probably 10% kids, and some others will be like internal medicine. I like to treat like really tough cases and stuff that I never treat before, even though sometimes I don't know how to treat in the beginning, but it ended up to be like on the good path. And then just someone having a cough, and you think that, oh, this should be done by 10 days, but then it just keep going. But usually at that point, I'll be praying for them at the same time. I'll be praying and then doing whatever I can think of to help them, and then that helps.
Yeah, this is something that I think a lot of people in this moment, after 5 years after COVID, and honestly, our Western system is breaking down right now. When you come in with the intention to help a person and you're holding space for them and what you just got described, like even praying for someone. And I feel like these are old school doctors used to do more and maybe can't do anymore because
They don't have
systems
time.
aren't allowed by, I guess, insurance and whatever to not do standard of care, whatever it is, all these issues that taking humanity out is, right?
I treat everyone like half an hour, really understand and know people.
We need that information to make a good recommendation and help the person, but it all goes together.
It's person come to you because probably
Yeah.
out of nowhere, but there's force that connects you, and that means there's something that's helping.
It's part of the medicine. It's like the triangle. There's the remedies, but you don't know in the beginning. There's the practitioner and there's the person. And there's some, we don't know what all forces are happening there.
That's what I believe as well. So sometimes they ask me like, who's the best TCM doctor in Beijing? It's like, there's so many, but everybody, if you go to this, but maybe he's not right for you. The forces, the connection up there is probably not working.
It's not probably going to be
the best.
The best
So
for you.
still, it's just the connection.
I believe that, and that's why I think too. I do also refer out to other kinds of practitioners. I also get a feeling this person might be better for you. Again,
Everybody have their strength.
has their strength. We don't all want to work in the same way or with the same type of conditions.
But yeah, I think that's good to meet new people. Understand like different medicine and
There's a hole in the right now, or maybe I just haven't found it yet, that's more of this type of thing. To help people understand the different modalities. Because I feel like, do you guys know of any other such type podcast? I don't. I work in an office with other kinds of practitioners. So Chinese medicine, massage therapists. There's one. What I notice is like most people are a quick lunch, like eating a small amount of and then back to work.
you don't talk or you don't.
We talk,
not
but
much.
it's not like relaxed. It's like very
I work 5 days, but 3 days in one hospital, and in there it's on the care.
Okay.
So we're a team. So the OBGYN doctor, there's a nutritionist, there's 2 physical therapists, and a psychiatrist. So we usually have lunch together, and or like in the morning we get, because all the ladies are guilty. We don't need to do the rounds yet. So we go to the office by 8:30, but we usually just chit chat until like almost 10 o'clock.
Yeah.
So in the beginning, that 1.5 hours, we'll be talking like, what's the drama in the war, like room, which this lady had, her husband is like that, and then she has these kind of problems. And what is her husband or her mother-in-law or whatever is doing that?
Yeah.
But by that, and have our customer service with us. So with someone coming in from, like, for example, she'll be after birth, she'll be in one ward for 3 days, and then she'll do our place. So in that transition, our customer service will tell us, be careful of this person, she has this, and then she's bitchy about blah, blah, blah. and then by that, okay, she has these conditions, each different department, what different things need to help her. So that's why I like what others are doing, and then we can work together.
Totally.
Yeah, and so that's why I like, and
I'm more of a team-oriented person myself, and like I volunteer for this Integrative Healers Action Network. We work more with people who have been evacuated from wildfires, and also now first responders as well, or with trauma. And we were working with the LA firefighters this past year, but it's more based out of Sonoma, and so it was since like 2017. But so many do ear acupuncture there, and homeopaths and naturopathic do work with like glutathione and other kinds of methods. And anyway, but I love that. One of the reasons I love doing that work, it's satisfying, but also like we work more as so we communicate with each other. This person may need you first before anybody puts hands on this person, or trauma informed and communication with the and honestly, I would love to work that way more at the time. Like I wish I either that turned into more of a got funded and I was more full-time doing that, or I would love to see an integrative clinic where we work alongside each other. Yeah. The thing I've seen that volunteer work that I do, even though people are in trauma there because of the situation, they love the premise. And in part of that, we go to them. So we're there in the firehouse or whatever, and so they're comfortable in their own environment. And they're more like a tribe anyway. But they love, be like, we're also like a tribe. We came to serve them. And so they're just like, wow. It takes away some of the associated with, they don't feel like something's wrong with you, you need help. Because anyway, nobody wants that way. People are preying on the person in a way.
Yeah, exactly.
Which I feel like what's happening to us with the media
Yes.
in every direction right
With
now.
the algorithm.
Yeah, and people are getting tired of it. I think people are recognize that like we're being played in this way. It's not good for us. It's literally not good for us. It's making us sick and making us less human towards other people. So I feel like it's a type of illness in and of itself. But I think if we can learn how to recreate this environment that feels healing to people and they feel our heart is in it and it's a collaboration and they feel empowered to take care of their own health, partnership with us, but it's not like we're telling them what to do. But obviously we need them to be partner with us. And so that's the person that I like to work with. I think probably like most of us is like that person who's ready to do something and not just show up and be like, fix me. I feel like I'm done working in that way, like for the person who just wants to over and over again show up and not take any responsibility. It keeps me yes, but it's not satisfying. I feel like I got out during the pandemic and then I realized what wasn't working in my practice, certain types of clients like that. And then I just shifted my intention, I think, around who do I really want to work with and who should find me. And I feel like that's working. So it is interesting. The doom and gloom part is that a lot of the systems are breaking down and even some of our societies are breaking down. But I feel like with those great challenges is great opportunity to build something new. And I do think we're a part of that. I think this is the time for our kind of medicine. We need all of it. I really do think something got so broken that we're in the world now. And it's up to us to build up the new way. You know, what else can be great? Yeah, I'm very glad all are here for however long you're here in San Francisco. I just love it. I don't know. I've just met so many cool people that come here, continue to come here, and then people don't always stay, but that's okay. But like, it's just so great that you come with, and who knows what's possible, right?
Thank you. Thank you.
Yes,
Really
thank
nice
you.
meeting